whatever caused the crisis, causing more death, more loss of life, more loss of livelihoods. And it's a have to. There is no choice. If you are there and you're empowered to act and there are people dying around you, you have to do what you can do, and it probably isn't enough. Around 2005, that agenda sort of got taken over by the DRR, Disaster Risk Reduction Agenda, and the Hyogo framework was very instrumental in that, which was very much putting the prevention and mitigation, and I don't mean climate change mitigation, I mean prevention type of mitigation, on the table, and saying, actually, we've got all these disasters, we've got to do something before they happen. But that then falls into the trap of the prevent and predict paradigm, which is how engineers and planners have operated, for legal reasons as much as anything else, which is, we can predict earthquakes and we can design buildings to withstand earthquakes. So look at the buildings that stood up in Japan, as well as the ones that didn't stand up, and that it's a combination of science. Earthquake science has evolved massively over the last 50 to 60 years. The communication between those scientists and the engineers has enabled us to do some prevent and predict stuff. But climate change is different because it is laden with uncertainty. So, and the prevent and predict is also has its problems because it's in the should. We don't have to. If we've got some spare money, we might do that, but there isn't an immediate return on it. So it falls into the should category. And an awful lot of what is discussed about us doing in this space at the moment falls into the should category. We should use less energy. We should produce less emissions. We should think about adaptation measures in cities. But human beings don't do the should tos. And on a personal level, I have 3 lists. A have to, a want to, and a should to. And the ones on the should to do not get done. They either move on to the have to, or they move on to the want to. But if there's something on a should to list, there is no motivation really deeply for me to. So in this disaster risk reduction climate change spectrum, you've got response and recovery over here, prevention and mitigation over here. The bit in the middle, which I believe is the most important bit, is awareness and preparedness. And that's about explaining what the climate change means, drilled down to how it might affect people. Not in terms of dramatic, scary facts, but actually realities. Building in sort of slow acceptance so things don't come as surprises. And so people will adapt individually. And I think awareness is much easier if it's tailored to specific groups. Talking to the business community about climate change is completely different to talking to a bunch of international actors about climate change. And we need to think about it from their different lenses and their different concerns. So the behavior changes because their motivations change and because people actually really want to create that change because they understand the problems and therefore that they're going to move.
One of the problems has been this concept of sustainability. It's been too much of a motherhood and apple pie thing, we're all for sustainability. But if you really look at it, you find out that it's privileges, too much of hierarchic thinking. It's almost as if it's pleading for maintaining the status quo. Okay. The best example I have is the DFID head office in London, where, a part of the foyer, they have done it because it's a development agency. It's got this Bangladesh Mark IV hand pump. It's just part of the decor. And they've got a thing inside, they've got a electric motor pump, I think, and the water just comes out of it into a brass pot, and it's just an ambience, okay? But to me, that signified everything that's wrong with DFID and other international development agencies' idea of sustainability. The idea that you put in a hand pump, and if it is sustainably put there, it will forever pump water, forever and ever and ever. Well, technology has changed. A farmer gets slightly rich, he'll want an electric pump there. Well, you put in a pump and there's arsenic in the water, so the whole thing has to be abandoned. All sorts of things keep happening all the time. So I think the idea of sustainability needs to be challenged, and I think challenge means not getting rid of it. It's a nice idea for a particular purpose. It must also be replaced in that triangle that I have seen, or complemented by the idea of flexibility. You know, is sustainability also complemented by flexibility of the innovative market, and also security in not the military sense, but in the value sense of the egalitarian body. If they feel insecure that their values are disappearing, or some values of justice are not coming into place, then the whole talk of sustainability is just going to be a preservation of status quo, which is not going to last. It will be most unsustainable.
I get very skeptical when discussions talk about lifestyles, because I think the word lifestyle is a very westernized concept. We like our air conditioning and our white goods in the kitchen, and et cetera, et cetera. And for an awful lot of people, it's not about lifestyle, it's about survival.
Daniel was going to comment.
Yeah, I just want to make a short comment or give you a positive example that also economic development can go together with with environmental protection. I mean, we as Siemens are one of the best examples for this, because with our environmental sound technologies we offer, it's not only a win for us, because it's a sustainable and it's an economical business model behind it, because our customers are buying it not because they're saving CO2 emissions, but they're also saving money. So our customers / the society is winning, the economy overall is winning, and the environment is also winning. And therefore we don't need any lifestyle changes. We can use the technologies we have, even so if you look in the future, some lifestyle changes will be necessary. I mean, if we look at the new electricity age, if you look at new technologies like electronic cars, e-cars, I mean, this will be a paradigm shift.
Part of the reality is also that there's this urban mix and intensity, and I think, in terms of the innovation, where I find my optimism around this is in systems that I thought would never make a difference. In 93 or 96, when I was leading a bunch of stuff on groundwater for the World Bank for India, I remember cell phones were considered absolutely inappropriate. It's the fact that people come up with solutions that you would never have predicted. And I think of the cell phone one as a viral response. Nobody would have predicted that it would have been used for insurance, for remittances, cell phone banking, all sorts of things.
Now, this gives me the opportunity, in a way, to summarize my feelings around this. What seems to come across very clearly, and I've heard it from a number of sides now, that raising awareness of the current situation, be it with governments, the corporate world, or with individuals, is absolutely essential. And I'm sure that can be achieved by fairly different means. Let me end by thanking my colleagues on the panel, from whom I've learned a hell of a lot in not very correct English in the last 24 hours, and I will look forward actually to continuing the relationship and to continue the dialogue with all concerned. Thank you very much.